Afternoon, I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. It's Wednesday, November 19th. News today, same-sex marriage, marriage equality. Tomorrow, the Arkansas Supreme Court and a federal district judge will hold hearings on lawsuits challenging the state's ban on same-sex marriage and on recognizing marriages that were legally performed in other states. Today, there were developments. A demonstration was held at the state capitol by opponents of same-sex marriage, but they were met by counter-protesters, and in a great moment when the Family Council and the people who support discrimination called for pastors to come forward. Eddie McCain of the Open Door Community Church in Sherwood came forward with his big sign saying he supports marriage equality. It was a nice moment. Also today, the Human Rights Campaign, the lobby group for LGBT people, released its annual report on corporate citizenship as it pertains to equality issues on sexual orientation. Walmart led the way among Fortune 500 companies based in Arkansas with a 90-point score on a 100-point scale for a very enlightened outlook on management, inclusion, health insurance, and other recognition of people of different sexual orientation. Other companies didn't do so well. The worst was J.B. Hunt, which got a big fat 0. At the Capitol today, transition news continues to occupy some of the headlines. Asa Hutchinson drew a little attention from current state employees with his job application form online that asks an unprecedented series of probing questions about people, their club memberships, whether they've written letters to the editor of the newspaper that might be controversial, other things like their credit history, their criminal background, that sorts of things. The Hutchinson campaign told me later that this is for appointees to boards and commissions, not for routine job applications, but it still raised something of a question about whether there'd be a political litmus test by this administration. A partial answer to that came later in the day when the Hutchinson administration named 3 people who currently head minor state agencies that will be retained after Governor Beebe leaves office and Asa Hutchinson takes over. On the streets of Little Rock, last night the Little Rock City Board approved an ordinance that will allow the operation of Uber, the smartphone app car service. However, they didn't have enough votes to approve the emergency clause. So then the question becomes for the next month, if it takes that long for the ordinance to take effect, will Uber continue to offer free rides? Well, they told me this morning that they would. You can continue, so call up Uber, get the app, and get you a free ride in Little Rock, at least until the ordinance takes effect. The city board could meet next Tuesday and pass the emergency clause and get them legally operating within a week or so. Also in the technological world, 2 more people became victims of a Craigslist robbery scheme. They thought they were responding to a used car ad. A guy was waiting there to rob them, and he shot 2 of them, but he didn't get any of their money. They resisted. That prompted somebody to suggest the big idea for Little Rock is a safe meeting place for Craigslist swaps, say the parking lot of the Little Rock Police Headquarters, perhaps. On TV last night, Governor Mike Beebe made his final appearance on AETN's Ask the Governor show. He was again asked about his plans to pardon his son on an 11-year-old marijuana conviction. He continues to defend it. He said he's not going to treat his son any worse or any better than anyone else. That's a nice sounding answer. It just doesn't happen to be a totally accurate answer. There are other people with minor marijuana arrests who've not been able to have their records cleared. They just don't happen to be the son of the governor. Look on our blog today, the arkansasblog.com, for a report from Benji Hardy on feuding going on at the Lottery Commission and negotiations with a big Greek company that provides lottery services, Intralot. The state's trying to get a better deal to save some money, put more money into college scholarships. They need to make this happen because legislators, or some at least, are thirsty to move this project to another lottery operating company that happens to have some good Republican lobbyists working for them. Elsewhere today in offbeat news, a man we've mentioned before, a guy from Memphis who's fathered 26 children by 20 different women, got called into court in Forest City this week for failure to pay child support. He says he can't afford it, although he's seen on Facebook swilling $250 a bottle brandy and that sort of thing. But 26 kids, that'd stretch even a Walton, I think, to make the child support payment. And finally, from Desark, this news just in. No, they're not having trouble with guns on campus. They're having trouble with duck calls. They sent out a stern warning to students today. If anybody uses a duck call in the hallways at Desark High School, their duck call will be confiscated. So quack, quack, I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.